doing math with RHB, and we're looking at lesson 10, order of operations using BEDMAS and decimal numbers. So this is in the exact same format, only now you have decimal numbers instead of whole numbers. You're still looking at the exact same BEDMAS formula. You do the brackets first, if there are any. Exponents next, if there are any. Multiply, divide, in the order they come left to right. Add, subtract, in the order they come left to right. No equal sign with the question, then it's automatically underneath and to the left-hand side. So, I'm going to take away the rules and start with the question, which is long. In this case, no equal sign, so it's going to go underneath. Alright, the beauty of these questions is you can just keep writing the things not used underneath each other. It's almost mindless work. You just need to be able to do the add, subtract, multiply, divide. For the most part, I use the calculator for some of this. I'm going to do it old school. I've already figured out all the questions or all the answers and then just put them on a paper so that it can do it faster for the camera. So in this case, we have one set of brackets, has to be done first. So the 7.3 just gets written underneath each other. Plus sign goes underneath. Now we have the bracket, 2.2 plus 3.4. We need to solve that before we write out the rest of the question. Excuse me. So we end up with 5.6. And then we just write the rest of the question. Multiplied by 2.1, subtracted by 13.4, divided by 3.2. Now, if we have that, we've got rid of the brackets. We don't have any exponents. So the next we look for is a multiply or divide in the order they come, left to right. So starting at the left, the first thing we come to is a multiply. So we're going to put the equal sign underneath the other equal sign on the next line. And we haven't used the 7.3 or the plus sign, so it's right underneath. 7.3 plus sign. Now we come to the multiply. 5.6 times 2.1. So we end up with 11.76. And then write out the rest of the question. You can't just leave it. Subtract 13.4 divided by 3.2. Another equal sign underneath. Next thing you can solve, you can't solve the add, you can't solve the subtract because we have a divide. Alright, division, 13.4 divided by 3.2. So if you put that into your calculator, you end up with 4.8725. So we haven't used the 7.3, so we write that down. We haven't used the plus sign, write that down. We haven't used the 11.76. We haven't used the subtract sign. So 13.4 divided by 3.2, you end up with 4.1875. Alright, now all you have left is add and subtract. So in the order they come, the first one you come to is an add question. So you end up with 19.06. Decimal 06. Subtract 4.1875. Another equal sign. Last thing you do is the subtraction, and you end up with 14.8725. You can see how easily it gets complex when you start getting into decimal numbers, BEDMAS. lots of operations. All right, you can use a calculator. I have this old calculator. It's a big display one, so you can see it on the screen. All right, this isn't a scientific calculator. Obviously, it's just a general add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I think it's got square root and it's got percent and a memory section. So we will go over how to use some of that later, but right now I'm still doing paper and pencil tasks.